Hey guys, how's it going? Back with another video today. Today I wanted to share with you 5 tips to help you make sure that you can stay on goal while dieting. I've now been on a diet for over 90 days and I just want to share some tips with you so that you make sure that you can smash your goals as well, and just so that you can achieve the best physique possible coming into this summer. So if you haven't already, please be sure to share and subscribe and sit back, relax and enjoy the video. Alright, so tip number 1. So firstly, when you want to start a diet, you want to be making sure that you're buying the right foods. And to do this, it means that you have to get rid of all the processed and shitty foods in your diet, or as much as possible. And for some people, this might mean clearing out cupboards and throwing stuff into the bin. And I was one of the people that definitely had to do this because of all the food that I liked. So if you are starting a diet, I would definitely suggest about getting rid of all the crappy food in the house, getting yourself a shopping list, writing down what you need and going to the shop and buying it. Because I feel like if you just go to the shop and start buying foods and you don't really know what you need to get, you tend to normally buy things that you don't need, and as a result you might also buy maybe sweets and things that you're meant to be staying away from at the start anyway, just until you get the ball rolling with the diet. So for the first thing I'd say, I know it might be hard for some people, but throw out all the crap in your house before you start your diet, because this is going to set you on the right path and put you in the best possible starting position to make sure that you can achieve the goal that you want to, which is obviously fat loss then. So the second tip that I want to share with you today is drinking more water. So for me personally, I don't struggle too much, but I know there's a lot of people when I would say to them, especially clients of mine, that I need to drink more water, and they go, I'm drinking loads of water, I'm drinking as much as I can. Then when we actually break it down to see how much they're drinking, they're maybe drinking a litre of water a day, and it's definitely not enough. You need to be drinking at least 2 litres of water a day. But when you're on a diet, you should near enough be doubling that if you're a fella, and if you're a female, it should be about 3 litres. And this is because this will allow you to suppress your appetite and allow you to just go a wee bit longer, which means that your body can just absorb more of the water, and therefore you won't be feeling as hungry throughout the day. As a result, then you will be eating less food and making sure that you're staying in a caloric deficit. So yeah, water anyway. You need to make sure that you're drinking loads of it, because it's going to become your best friend as well. 0 calories. It's the only thing there that has 0 calories. So it's a good way of just filling yourself up when you are hungry. And just a wee tip as well, what seems to happen a lot is people, when they think that they're hungry, it's not actually that they're hungry, it's actually they're just thirsty. And because food has water in it, then your body tells you that you're hungry, but it's actually that you need water. So my advice would be, if you think you are hungry, drink water, wait half an hour if you can, and then see again if it's hunger. But as obviously when you get further into the diet, you'll know it will be hunger more often than not. But even if you aren't dieting, give that a try and see if that helps out. The third tip I want to share with you today is intermittent fasting. So I've been speaking about intermittent fasting on the channel before, and it's such a good tool to use when it comes to dieting. This allows you to basically eat within a specific window of time and have meals closer together, but it also means that you have to have a long period of time where you aren't eating food. So for example, an intermittent fasting regime could be 18-6 or 16-8 window. For me personally at the moment, I'm following an 18-6 split. So for 18 hours a day, I'm fasted, and for 6 hours a day, I'm eating. Because I'm so far into my diet now and I'm getting really close to the end, having all my meals in a short space of time allows me to try and stay full for as long as possible. So what I'll do is I'll have my first meal of the day around 2 o'clock and my last meal around 8. And that'll allow me time then to digest my food before I go to bed, allow me to go to bed for the night and then wake up in the morning. So the best thing about it is as well, for 8 hours out of the 18 that I'm fasting, I'm sleeping for. So it makes it easier for me then as well to kind of push through for about 6 hours before I have my first meal of the day again after waking up, providing I'm not working at 6 o'clock in the morning. But the thing is though, intermittent fasting is such a good way just to control everything that you're eating, because you know what times you have to be eating in, and it just allows you then to not really fall off track, and it allows you to keep a regimented schedule if that's what you're trying to follow. Alright, so tip number 4, cardio. Cardio is a tool. It's not something that you need to use every single day. For me personally, on my diet, when I started, I didn't start doing cardio for the first 6 weeks of my diet. And that was because I was losing weight constantly, and that's just coming from being in a caloric deficit. Being in a caloric deficit is going to allow you to lose body fat no matter what. It's very simple. If you're eating less calories than what you're burning in a day, you're going to lose body fat, and vice versa. If you're wanting to build muscle, then you need to be eating more in the day than what you're burning. It's as simple as that. But cardio, it is a tool at the end of the day. And if you overuse it, it's going to become ineffective later on. So for instance, an example of this would be if you start doing 20 minutes of cardio every day at the very beginning of the diet, you're going to start losing weight, and that's great and that's fine. But what happens then when you start to hit a plateau? You're going to have to then increase your cardio up higher, and then when you hit another plateau, higher and higher and higher. So by the time you get pretty deep into that, you could be up to doing an hour and 20 minutes of cardio a day, and nobody wants to be doing that. That's just hell at the end of the day. You do not want to be doing it. You want to be making sure that you utilize cardio in the best way possible, and that is by using it as a tool to increase your caloric deficit later on in the diet when it becomes harder to lose weight. And then it's a way and a form of just making sure that you can lose that last few kilos if that's what it comes down to. So from my personal experience, I would suggest that you shouldn't start cardio until you have about 6 to 8 weeks left, maybe off at that, maybe even 10 weeks if you're pushing it. But 6 to 8 weeks should be plenty of time if you're doing cardio then, because it'll allow you enough time just to burn those extra calories to get to where you want to be. Last and certainly not least by any means whatsoever is being in a caloric deficit. Now it's really simple, and it sounds like that's what you need to do, but it is as simple as this: be in a caloric deficit. If you want to lose weight, you need to be in a caloric deficit. How do you do this? By eating less calories. How do you know how many calories you're eating though? That's where it comes in then, the being a bit more difficult. If you're just guessing willy-nilly and you haven't properly tracked before, it's going to become very difficult. If you then don't track, you don't know what you're eating, you could actually be overeating for the day, and therefore that's why you might not be losing weight. So for me personally, I would say get a fitness tracker which can allow you to track all your meals, such as MyFitnessPal. That's what I use. It allows me to see exactly what I'm putting into my body every day, and it allows me to make sure that I'm staying within my calorie limit for the day. Doing this then means that I'm making sure that I'm going to lose weight on a consistent basis and not fall off the bandwagon and not be overeating. For me personally, I feel like if people don't start seeing the results immediately, then they're going to not stick to the diet, and they're not going to continue on with it because they feel like they're not doing the best they could. Whereas if you're tracking from the beginning and you know exactly how much you're eating, it's going to allow you to see how much of something is. So for instance, when you're cutting up, say, some potatoes, you know that this here is 200 grams and this here is 300 grams, but you're only allowed 200 grams a day. And if you're feeling a little bit hungry and you end up going for the 300 grams, then you might be going over your calories every day, and it might be ever so slightly, but it does build up over the weeks and months, and therefore then you could end up gaining weight over a slow period of time. And if that's the goal, then that's good, but obviously the goal for today is talking about tips to lose weight. So therefore you need to be making sure that you're calculating exactly what you're eating to make sure that you can make the best possible approach to when it comes to dieting, and making sure that you make those changes in what you need to do. But you need to remember at the end of the day that everything that you use for tracking is good and well, but you need to make sure that everything is tracked. You can't just track, or won't track fruit because fruit's healthy. Everything needs to be tracked because everything has calories in it, and everything that has calories in it will add up to your daily total for the day. So that's why everything needs to be tracked. So anyway guys, this is just the end of the video now. I just wanted to share some tips with you just to make sure that you can achieve your goals the best way possible. As I'm getting so close to the end now, I'm definitely utilising these tips as much as I can. So if you haven't already, please be sure to share and subscribe, and until next time, goodbye.